Živjo, Ivy here. Welcome back to my channel. Let's check out all the books that I was reading in August. I have to say I am doing really good with reading. I read 5 books last month and this month as well. For those who perhaps are watching, I usually read 4 books total. So basically 1 book for a week. But this time I made it pretty good. And I read a lot of thriller books this month. And I had to break it because I kept reading 3 thriller books one after the other, and then I need something else because it was too much, and 2 books were way too close because it has to do with a therapist, or basically patients and therapy and all that, but you'll see which books are later. I wanted this to be, I did August for my bullet journal green, a lot green, but here I thought to pair it up with pink because green and pink really work well together. And I do like how this came out. Now again, I am trying this calendar thingy. You will see it later how it looks. I don't know. Am I doing... Maybe... Oh, why did this idea come to my mind right now? Maybe I should have used different colors for, if you've seen how some content creators are doing this, it's basically like you draw a line of a color with a marker, and then you write, let's say you were reading from the 1st to the 3rd a book, and then you draw that line and you write down which book you read. Now I had just the same colors, and I don't know, maybe I should have added different colors. You'll see what I mean, but I'm not so sure about this. I think I need to look up those content creators, how they are doing this. Maybe I'm not doing it right. I did read 2 ebooks and 3 books from my library. I do not have any of these books that I would own. So yeah, library won this month. I was reading a lot from there. And kind of funny that I was reading, that I mentioned, like I've read thriller books. August is my birth month, and I was reading nothing but really thriller, suspense, crime books this month. Okay, so we start with the first book, and I did read another book by this author, by Natasha Preston, like a year ago, or it was already 2 years, don't know. But I heard that this book is really good from her, and that is the CELLAR, and it is really good. And oh, the emotions I had about this book were, oh, it's good. It's really good. I think there was just a little bit actually wait, I'm jumping. So this is an ebook that I was reading. This is YA, thriller, horror, mystery, fiction, crime. So what is happening here is there's this crazy guy who he wants these girls that he kidnapped to call him Clover, but every girl he kidnaps, he gives her a name of a flower. And our main girl is, well, her name is Summer, but he gave her the flower name Lily. and they need to live with these names. And certain girls have been captured by him or kidnapped, and they live in, well, some of these girls are like runaway girls, or they didn't get along with their family and they lived on the street. Lily or Summer, on the other hand, she has a family, she has everyone, but he had his eyes set on her, and she is the youngest. Like when he went after girls, they were at least legal age, so 18. Summer was 16 when he kidnapped her. So the oldest one, I believe, was Rose, and she was already 2 or 3 years in it, and she just accepted it. And it just when you're in that situation and you get out, like you get saved, it's kind of hard to get back to live a normal life, but just being trapped in this room. Basically, this guy in his house made a cellar, which goes, it's basically a wall and books are on it, a bookshelf, and behind it you go into a cellar, and that's where the girls were. Now, for a girl Summer, when she was kidnapped, I was really hoping that they will find her a lot faster before something happens, because there's no way he's just gonna keep these girls, as which he says that they are family, but you don't F a family, you know what I mean? And basically none of these girls wants anything to do with him in that way, and I was hoping that they will find Summer and the girls before it happened. Sadly, no. And God, I had these emotions, and oh, I cried because the way she felt, it was just a lot. The only thing that I have a little bit issue with this is how they found out who he is. I don't think it was written really well to put him in a spotlight. Or maybe I didn't notice it that much. Anyway, the book is great. If you haven't read it, go read it. It's good. Okay, before we go to the second book, I have to say I'm very sorry if you hear noises like the birds or kids screaming outside. I hope my microphone isn't doing some weird sounds, because in the later videos it's been doing weird sounds. I hope it's not making it right now. Okay, let's go to the second book. It is Never Lie. Apparently this is her best book so far, but I like her books because they're very simple, like you just really easy to read, and I like it. So this is another thriller, mystery, fiction, crime, and I got it from my library, and I also very much enjoyed this one. Basically in this book you don't know who the hell is crazy. So you have this doctor who lives completely by herself in a big house in the middle of freaking nowhere, and she has no cell phone signal. She doesn't even have, for example, those home phones, like God forbid something happens, like you can at least use that phone if you don't have the service on your mobile. She got nothing. In fact, she didn't even have security, safety, or to have your home cameras and all that. Nothing. Oh my God, woman. And she started to have cameras around her home once one patient got a little bit too obsessed with her. And that was kind of her downfall, because as a doctor, and she says that she can see a lie, she did not see that lie very well with this certain patient. Now, everyone here is connected, and they are connected with this doctor. Now, the story goes with this 2 young couple. They're just freshly married, and I think she is pregnant, his wife, and they are looking for a house, and they end up with that doctor's house that she passed away. Apparently that she was murdered by her lover. And there are secrets in this house. Our girl Tricia kind of found a secret. Again, like in the previous book, it's a bookshelf, and behind it there are cassette tapes of all of her patients that she would have in a conversation with and what they were telling. And some of them have evidence of crime and they need to be destroyed. And in those cassettes, like I said, all of them are connected. I didn't know a certain someone that was a patient. One wasn't a patient, but someone they knew is a patient. And I guess that is one of the reasons why they wanted this house. But yeah, I kind of do agree with certain character that when Adrian, the doctor was about to get, she didn't put up a fight. And this person said like, oh my god, I killed so many people, and they at least put up a fight. She didn't do nothing. You didn't even fight for your life, you just gave up. That was all a bit, what? But overall, I did have fun with this book. It was pretty good. And I did not expect this book to have that type of an ending. Specifically when you start to know who these characters are. And one character didn't deserve to die. That was BS. And you should really be afraid of certain people. Because at the end of the book, nobody's safe from the killer. Not even the most precious person. So, that would be for this book. I do recommend. Funny. I actually started with another book that involves doctors, therapists. I don't know what was up with this month, but here we go. Another book from my local library. Again, a thriller, mystery, crime. And this is The Good Lie. Also heard good things about this book. This is about a really cruel serial killer who kills, here's a surprise, doesn't kill the girls, but boys. Because usually the girls are the victims, but here are 6 teenage boys that were victims, and the 7th one escaped the serial killer, which there's a story behind all that, which I do not want to spoil. Do read it if you haven't. So another doctor, female doctor who's a therapist, is helping this detective to find who is the serial killer. And he thinks that it's one of her patients. And here's the BS. Like this detective isn't exactly fair. Like he knew who she was. And he charmed her. And then they sleep together. And then he goes in her stuff where you should not be going, if that's her office, and she has files of her patient. He was actually looking through it. And when it happened the second time, he again went against, not exactly against her, but telling about who is the patient, who is the killer, or something like that. And I'm like, girl, you really need to stop sleeping with this guy. He's not serious. He's just using you to get information out. But I do understand why he's so obsessed with the serial killer. It's not because it's his job or that he's a detective. No, it's because the sixth victim was his son. And yeah, his son was brutally killed. Like the other 5, they were killed as well. But when you look at forensic files, his son was killed brutally than the other 5. And this 7th kid that apparently ran away from the serial killer is quite a liar, but you can't hate him because he was so manipulated by the murderer. And it's kind of sad. So it's not completely his fault that he didn't want to tell the truth to the officers who is the killer, and he was framing a teacher, which that teacher deserves to be in jail for the things that he's done, but not this. He is not the killer. So yeah, I do really like this book. I do recommend. And we are at the 4th book, which is also the 3rd book in a series that I've been reading by Hannah Grace. This is Daydream. I had to break off all that thriller, therapist, murder thing, so I went for romance, which involves sports, and I got this also from my library, and I do like this book. I guess because I was reading such dark things and then end up in something more light, I was really enjoying this book. So we have a girl, which Haley, she is a little bit on a bigger side, not that much, but she, you know, she's more on bigger. She is not skinny girl, which is nice to read for once, that there's not always just skinny girls, but let's leave it. So our girl Haley has a problem. She's like a people pleaser, doesn't know how to say no, and she does everything for everybody else, and she never puts herself on a spot. She started to put herself on a spot and do things she wants to once she broke up with her ex-boyfriend. And her ex-boyfriend Will, which they are friends with, basically their parents are like friends and they grew up together and all that, but they don't exactly work as partners. And honestly, Haley wasn't even that heartbroken, but she started to realize that now she can focus on herself and things she wants to do, even though her family doesn't exactly respect her not exactly privacy, but they ask too much of her and never ask her how she is. Like, she's the family manager. She does everything. Help her sister, which she has, how do you say it, ADHD or something like that, you know that, with her homework. Her mom constantly, if she has something to complain about or something to talk about, never has anyone asked Haley how she's doing. And then we get Henry. He is a hockey player. He has problems of his own. He has the same kind of a diagnosis as Haley's sister, and he kind of can't, how should I say it, something about his emotions, like if it gets overwhelming, or for example, since he became a captain of the hockey team, if something doesn't go right, he really takes it personal and he doesn't know how to handle his emotions, and the only way he knows how to deal with it is to actually lock himself in his room and just leave me alone until he's like cooling off and figuring things out. But sadly, he doesn't know how to figure it out, and Haley is really good at that, and she knows what she doesn't know exactly what he needs, but she respects that he needs space when something becomes too much for him. And they started as good friends, and he started to help her with, since she wants to be a writer, and he wants to help her write her book, which is supposed to be more romantic, but she does not have experience when it comes to romance, because her past relationship was, honestly, it was not romantic. It was not a relationship at all, the way what I was reading. So he's helping her to figure out how it feels, how to go on real dates and all that. And of course, feelings change. It was a sweet book. I really enjoyed it. I don't know, maybe I enjoyed it because I read too much thriller books and then I went into this, but I had fun reading this. Okay, this is the last book. It is the second one in the series. This is the Maddest Obsession. Dark romance. This is mafia romance. Enemies to lovers. So we already know Gianna from the previous book, but she was only like a little bit mentioned, and yeah, she was there, but we didn't know much about her. The only thing that she is super young and she married a guy in the mafia who is like 20 years older than her. Messed up, but I know. So Gianna married her first husband, who is 20 years old, because of her father, because of the family, and she thought that she's going to make this man love her. It does not work like that. This is mafia. Love, I don't think that even exists in their world. And Gianna keeps getting some type of trouble, locked up in prison cells, and needs to be saved. And she gets saved by this guy named Christian, but she called him different because she forgot his name, and I didn't write it down. Yeah, and she kind of felt different around him. Like, she knows the energy around him is very dark, also very mysterious, but she was kind of drawn towards him. And this is interesting. He is going to therapy, but he's not exactly a mafia boss. He kind of like works with the mafia, but he has his own thing. And he's not Italian like all of the rest of them that we were introduced. He's Russian. And Gianna is very much into it. So yeah, their relationship kind of didn't start very well. They did not like each other, even though things did heat up. But he then went away for 3 years. Gianna was a widow because her first husband died. Then, this is so stupid, but she was forced to marry the second time, and she married a really old guy who is very close to dying, you know, really old. I don't know why it's like that. Why did she need to marry immediately? Something like it's to protect her? I think something that Nico was saying. Anyway, but Christian wasn't happy that she married the second time, but he wasn't there for entire 3 years. What was she supposed to do? Just wait for him? No. So her second husband passed away of, well, his health, because he wasn't exactly young. And that was like an open door for these two to explore, even though Gianna said it's enough, she doesn't want to marry anymore. She really wants to look for a relationship that would last, that would be filled with love, and she kind of wants to have a family. It's just a typical mafia little romance. It was fine. I like this one a lot better than the first one. I do like Gianna a little bit more than Elena. Elena was not very well written. Gianna has her own problems. She's not perfect herself, but I do like her a little bit more. So yeah, if you do like mafia romance, a lot of spies, yearning, and all that, but there's also crime happening here, like someone dies and all that. So there you go. I had fun. It was nice to break from all of those thriller books. And here we are back at the beginning. This is the winner of the month. It is Daydream. And I think the reason why this book won is, like I mentioned, is because I was reading way too much thriller, one book after the other, and I just needed something to break it off, and this book just made me feel nice. It's a great book. Honestly, if I have to rate, I will say Daydream, then Wildfire, and then Icebreaker. Icebreaker isn't bad, but not exactly my favorite book from her. And here is how the calendar looks. Maybe I should have added different colors. So that would be all for my little video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in my next video, and write down which books you were reading this month. Ciao ciao!